The Italian Wine Podcast is the community-driven platform for Italian wine geeks around the world. Support the show by donating at ItalianWinePodcast.com. Donate €5 or more and we'll send you a copy of our latest book, My Italian Grape Geek Journal, absolutely free. To get your free copy of My Italian Grape Geek Journal, click Support Us at ItalianWinePodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. Grazie mille.
Welcome to Masterclass US Market with me, Juliana Colangelo. This show has been designed to demystify the US market for Italian wineries through interviews with experts in sales and distribution, social media, communications, and so much more. We will quiz each of our esteemed guests at the end of each episode to solidify the lessons that we've learned. So sharpen your pencils, get out your notebooks, and join us each week to learn more about the US market.
Hello, welcome to Masterclass US Wine Market. Today I'm thrilled to welcome Caterina Sartarelli to the Italian Wine Podcast. Caterina is in charge of exports for Sartarelli Winery internationally. She studied and lived outside of Italy and worked in other businesses before joining the Sartarelli team in 2011. Welcome to the show, Caterina. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Juliana. Thank you very much to all your guests. Very happy to be here, and it feels very good to be back. So thank you. Grazie mille, really. And it's an honor.
Absolutely. No, it's great to have you back. So, Caterina, before we dive into today's discussion, tell us a little bit more about your family's winery and your role in the company. I'm also curious to hear some of the other businesses you were working in before joining the family business in 2011.
Of course. Thank you. Actually, I've been working at Sartarelli since 2011. And before that, I worked for a few years in New York City. I was working in a shipping company and I also worked in a petrol company. So completely different businesses compared to the wine business, just because I really wanted to make my own experiences as well. Let's say to prove myself that I could make it by myself as well. Because when you come from a family of entrepreneurs, like a family business and a winery, it's different because you very much feel the responsibility on one side, but on the other side, you also want to prove yourself.
Right.
So it's always a matter of balance. So the winery has been existing since 1972. It's a family business. It's a perfect combination of tradition, family, future, respect, love, quality. So that's a little bit these are our keywords. And I would say, I'm not sure if maybe some of the guests have never been to the region. Someone, yes. Of course, we don't have time for that. But what I usually do with the guests when I go and visit markets in the US market or somewhere else as well, what I do, I always do like a sort of visualization for 3-4 minutes where I try to bring people to the region, to take them on a virtual tour of the region, because it helps very much to have them focus on the region itself exactly. But what I can say, just the region where I'm from, the main colors are yellow of the sunflowers, the blue of the seaside, the green, the vibrant green of the vineyards, and the silver greenish color of the olive trees, and the brownish color of the mountains in the distance. So that's a little bit how our region looks like.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's a nice visualization of Le Marche. Very pretty. So Caterina, today we're going to talk about tourism in Le Marche, but with, Sartarelli specifically, and how an Italian winery could use, tourism to also expand their export markets and their business abroad. So our 3 key takeaways for today's episode and what we're excited to learn from you are, number 1, how hospitality and wine tourism can help build your brand in the U.S. market specifically. Number 2, ways to differentiate yourself as an Italian winery through enotourism. And finally, what are some future predictions of wine tourism and enotourism in Italy? So I know, big questions. But for starters, let's just start off with a little baseline. Talk to us a little bit about the hospitality program at Sartarelli.
Oh, of course.
When did it start? What does it entail? How did it get started? Just a little bit of background.
The hospitality program started already many years ago. I would say already in 2000, when I just came, like 2011, I really thought it was much more important that, everyone was believing. And so that's when we really started. We always, invited people to come and visit, but that's when we really tried to focus much more on that. So on wine tourism, like on hospitality. And I think it's really essential because it's as important as the winemaking. And of course, if you ask why, because there is so much offer out there, and from all over the place, from different countries which are making good wine. So when people come, of course, they want to have a specific memory of you. So that's what we try to do, at least at Sartarelli. So when people come, of course, they come and visit the winery. They have a tour of the vineyards. Then, of course, we also customize the program based on the guests who come to visit us. And then, of course, they have visit the winery, vineyards, and then, of course, the wine tasting. But we also let them visit all the time the wine museum that we have, where we retrace all the story back from the ancient times up to today of Verdicchio. And I think that's also very important, because it really gives you an idea of what we do.
Right.
Because Verdicchio has always been at the heart of our Sartarelli production. And so since we have 50 vineyards, all of them planted with the same vine variety, when we opened the new hospitality building back in 2017, we really wanted people to have like a memory of us, like an experience. So when they come, we really touched with them the five senses. So we let them see the vineyards. They have a tour around. We have 2 beautiful terraces when they can really immerse themselves into the vineyards. And then we have a rose garden on the back where they have a visual tour of the tasting.
Very cool.
And then we have they come inside, they have all the little bottles of aromas where they can get ready, prepare themselves for the tasting. And then based, of course, on their needs, we have tastings with different kinds of foods and so on, or catering, depending on people on the groups. And sometimes they're couples, but we really touch, as I said, I'm sorry for keeping repeating myself, but the five senses really, I think, really, it's very important. And also what I realized, but it's really my very personal experience. I'm not saying that as an absolute truth, not at all. I'm just saying that what I've seen, what I understood, at least what I felt, is that people really want to come, of course, and they want to see traditional places, but at the same time, they also expect something more.
Mm-hmm.
Also in terms of hospitality buildings, it's no more just the nice little countryside, because it's beautiful, and we still have a beautiful countryside house, of 1882. We still have it, but they also want to have something more. They want to have really an experience to go back and think, okay, I want to go back there. And I think really our goal is to have some guests become loyal.
Right.
They cannot come every year, but maybe once every number of years they come back.
Of course.
And that's really our pride, have them come back. It means it was worthy, it was good.
Make them lifelong fans of the winery. Absolutely. And talk to us a little bit about what type of guests you're getting at the winery. Are a lot of Americans, other Europeans, just demographically, who are you seeing coming through your doors at the winery?
That's a very good question, actually, because you let me think before and after pandemic. Before pandemic, we had Americans, many US people, but not so many as after pandemic. After pandemic, half of the visitors are from the US.
Wow. Okay.
That's really incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah. Then we have many from other European countries, as for instance, Great Britain, United Kingdom, Ireland, Northern European countries, also Asia, Japan, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
We also have many from Eastern European countries this year, especially. But
interesting.
Yeah, really. But half of the people are from the US. Then in our case, also we have many from Germany, because I went to the public university in Germany, so I have this German connection as well. But really many from the US, I must confess. So it's a very important market for us.
That's great for this topic and this conversation for this episode, which is exactly why we wanted to speak with you. So wow, 50% or more of guests coming to visit, Sartarelli from the US, which is amazing. So how do you see that impacting your business in the US market?
Let's say it helps very much. Helps us very much on both sides. Helps our brand, I'm sure, Sartarelli brand to grow over there, but also in a reverse way. People come here, they visit the winery, and they go back and they ask for Sartarelli wines. But at the same time, people come and visit because they know the brand in the US. So that's why it works reverse. I think it works very well, and it's really much more important than you will ever think. I think it's as important as winemaking. I know some people who would listen to me now will say, "Oh no, it cannot be true," but it is true, because when you are out there, when people come and visit you, especially in terms of hospitality, you really must prove them that you are the face they're expecting behind the wine.
Right.
One thing is when they come to visit you, they say it's beautiful, they go back, and then they get the wines over there. One thing is when they come and visit you, and then they say, "Oh wow, that's maybe what I expected, or maybe that's more than I expected, or maybe hopefully they never say it's less than I expected. That's not what we want.
Right.
I still remember last year, it doesn't have to do with US, it has to do with the Japan. But I remember that one morning, our importer asked us to go and pick out someone from Japan. I said, of course I do. Like 7 a.m., picked him up, came to the winery. At 10, he was done because he was going to visit another winery as well of the region. And then before leaving, he said, oh, thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu, all this like in Japanese. And then said, Sartarelli is exactly what I expected, but it's more like family.
Wow.
And it's very, very important this because people come really and they see who you are and who you really are.
Right.
And what you really do.
Yeah.
That's why, especially with our partners, when people from our partners, the teams come, we always tell them, please come during the harvest time, September, because that's the best time when people can come and see exactly what you do.
Right. The process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, Caterina, what you said earlier, that the hospitality and how you welcome your guests is just as important, if not more, than the winemaking. And I know that's a bold statement, but I think it's really important because, a lot of people are making great wines, but it's about how do you make a great brand and create brand loyalty. And as you said, have those guests who come and visit Sartarelli over and over, and not just visit, but hopefully buy the wines then when they're back home in the market.
Italian Wine Podcast. If you think you love wine as much as we do, then give us a like and a follow anywhere you get your pods.
I'm curious, I know you mentioned it's a cycle, right, of having the awareness in Italy at the winery and then having the wines available in the U.S. market. But talk to us a little bit about how you've seen your business in the U.S. change, maybe especially since the pandemic, as you've seen an increase in tourism. Have you noticed, more business in certain markets, let's say in the East Coast, for example, or are you noticing more sales in the off-premise? Talk to us just a little bit more about, how the brand is doing in the U.S. as you see this increased tourism.
That's also like a very good question, because really after pandemic, things in the US are, let's say like that. Tourists have really very much indeed. Let's say guests when they come and visit, that's number one. Number two, actually, when you were talking about the East Coast, yes, we definitely saw an increase, especially on the East Coast, because many of the people come from the East Coast, because it's really the first, also geographically speaking, it takes 7-8 hours to go to Rome. So it's easier in that way.
Right.
The third point also, which is very important, I think, is about what you were talking about, on-premise and off-premise. It also depending on the years after pandemic. There was a particular period of time where off-premise was much stronger than on-premise, and now it's quite opposite. But of course, for us, yes, off-premise is good when people come really, because when they go back, they go to the shop and ask for the wines. But at the same time, it also helps very much, believe me or not, in the restaurants, because people go to the restaurants, and also restaurants, it's a little bit like the shops that also are, let's say, at some point, convinced that people who go there and ask for the wines. Just to tell you another story, like in a reverse, I hope I answered your question. Sorry, because I always keep telling stories, but I hope I answered your question.
No, that was great. I think what just to recap, you have seen increases in the East Coast because geographically it makes sense. More East Coasters are traveling to Europe. It's a much shorter flight. I can speak from experience, having lived in California and in New York. It's a long trip for people on the West Coast. They tend to maybe travel more frequently to Mexico, Hawaii, and other parts of the U.S. as compared to in New York. Like it's pretty much the same thing to travel to California or Italy, similar flight. So definitely getting more East Coast consumers at the winery, and you've seen that result in your sales, which is exciting. And I think that's a great indicator for our listeners and those working at wineries that investing in your tourism and your experience at the winery can pay off in your U.S. sales.
No, actually, it's really like that. Moreover, it's very important, I think, also to be open to all opportunities, to have all doors open, like in general. And also, like we work, for instance, with the cruises, like we also were at Wine Tourism Fair in Spain, where we also met many people from the US who have agencies and who organize smaller groups to come to visit. And that's also what I realized from the US. You usually have very cultural tours. you have like people who come, they're really interested in wines. They come for 1 or 2 weeks to do a tour of different regions in Italy. They come and taste the wines and really are specialized for that. You also have people who come like maybe with schools, of course, because they want to be sommelier or like work in the wine business. And it's also very interesting.
Right.
Then you have, for instance, like also people who come and just because they really know the brand exactly, want to come and visit and go back again with their families. So like more like private tours, but they always are very high-end cultural tours. That's what I really have to say, especially from the US.
Okay.
And I think it's very good because, in Italy, we have also a lot of history. So there is a lot to do as well, like in terms of culture, history. You have the seaside. We are a peninsula. So if you come all the year round, it's perfect because really, especially to the center of Italy, because in about 2 hours and a half, you can go to the mountains, from the mountains to the sea. So also geographically is great.
Right. Yeah.
But also very interesting is also about talking the reverse, of back and forth with the waves. That's really something also which astonished us. Like we have apparently some very good fans of, especially Trelivio in New York. And they go to the restaurant, they always get this wine. And I know that they're getting married now in Italy, and they asked specifically for Trelivio.
Oh,
so
wow.
like they asked the catering to have Trelivio. So
Amazing.
that really what makes me very happy, because it's when you really build up a connection,
Right. Absolutely.
through the people.
And you're saying that beyond the winery tasting room, you're getting a lot of business from tours and from weddings. So, just for our listeners to think about other channels that you might explore, beyond building out your tasting room experience and creating unique experiences, also is looking at weddings, and then which is a huge business, especially for Americans, and then also working with tour groups. That sounds like you're seeing a lot of success from working with tour groups.
Yeah, and also like we also organize actually, because we have this hospitality room and exhibits and so on, but also like wine concerts, for instance. So people come and there are organizations for concerts, like let's say like you have in New York Carnegie Hall, and let's say that one day they go around and they rent spaces here and there. So that's the same what we have in Italy. We call like Fondazione Pergolesi, and then in the summertime they move around and they organize these concerts outside of the theaters, which is very nice. And then they always come to the winery organize. So the key is just I think to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at the others and get inspiration, but I really think the key is to look deep into yourself and say, what would I like to reach? What is my goal? Nothing is impossible. You just try to leverage your strengths and you just move forward. I think that's really the key. Never sit on your laurels.
Yep, never rest on your laurels.
Rest on your laurels. Exactly. Thank you. We say in Italian, mai adagiarsi sugli allori. Exactly. So you always want to do improve and always want to do better, and you have to motivate yourself. And especially in the hospitality, it's the same like in the wine business. The more you sell, the more you want to do. The more you do in wine hospitality, the more you want to do, the more people you want to have, because it's also a matter of positive energy. The more positive you are and the more love you give, the more it comes back.
Absolutely.
That's so it's really life.
Yeah. And speaking of kind of never resting on your laurels, I hear you have an exciting partnership coming up this summer with the Olympics. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's been like a big thing. They got in touch with us a few months ago. And they wanted to have a wine from each region, and we proposed Trelivio. And then, some time ago, they told us they chose Trelivio, and we've been so excited, so happy, and really honored, because it's the first time. What's happening is the Italian team has Casa Italia. Casa Italia is a hospitality house for the Italia team. So like all the athletes and guests, all around, they go there and they gather over there. So this is their 40th of Casa Italia this year. And for the first time, they decided to have such a unique wine program. So one wine per each region. And we are the only winery from the region.
Amazing. So you're the only winery from Le Marche.
Yeah. And it's incredible because we also personally have, not personally, but we have athletes from the region who are really very good. 3 of them already are world champions. So, it's incredible because you think maybe the athletes can cheers with the wine, can have a toast to their success with the wine. But other than that, it's about, being together. And I know Casa Italia this year is called Ensemble, together. So it's all about union. It's about being together. It's about gathering. And I think it's really there. I really see the connection as usual. That's my usual. I see the connection everywhere, but I also see the connection with the wine business again. Why? because wine is a trait d'union among the people. So wine is about bringing people together. How many times you have, for instance, like an argument with someone that you say, okay, let's get a glass of wine and everything is fine. Or maybe you go and have a business meeting and you have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And also like in the last few weeks, everything happened because we had this good news of Olympic Games. And then we had Le Donne del Vino, talk about women. We have the Association of the Women of the Wine Business in Italy. And they came to us because I'm part of them as well. We had the National Convention starting at us. It's just so many good things are happening. I'm very thankful for that. Also, when we started to talk about this, about the US also, for how things are going in the US.
Great.
So it's really very grateful and very happy.
Lots of great momentum. Yeah, that's very exciting. Well, thank you again for joining us today on the podcast. As we wind down, we always do a rapid fire 3 questions. So if you can do your best to answer these questions in just 1 or 2 sentences, that would be great.
Of course.
Question number 1, what is your number 1 tip for mastering the US wine market?
Never give up, be humble, be focused, and nourish your network.
Great advice. Sure. Nourish your network. And number 2, what is something you might have told your younger professional self about working in the wine industry and working in the US specifically?
It is tough. It is nonstop work. It's challenging. You always must improve yourself. Don't look at the competition with the others. Just look at your goals, and you must just be yourself, really, and never judge anyone. Just be yourself and just be proud of yourself and be the best expression of yourself. But remember that it's never going to be easy, but it can be easier.
Be yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. And finally, what is your favorite travel hack? We're all traveling lots. I'm sure you're going back and forth between the US and home a lot. So what is one of your favorite travel tips?
I always use the same airline because in this way they give me, special treatments. It's very good. I always try to go all the time to the same hotel, for the same reason, of course. And why also? Because I would like to feel home. So when I go to a room, even if I stay for just one night, I always try to book exactly at the same hotel all the time. Or if it's a new city, I always ask for our partner, of course, for the best, not just for the best deal, but for the good hotel where you really feel home. And I always bring something with me. I always have same thing. So also for one night on my night table, I have the other little thing. I have exactly the same thing as at home. And something I got as a present from my 3 nephews, and they gave me something as a present. So I always think on them when I go around. So such things, but also, of course, sport. That's very important. So every morning go to the gym, even if you're tired, even if the evening before you were at a wine dinner with hundreds of people, because it happens, or like a wine dinner with 10 people, like every wine dinner is important. But the day after, before going and starting your day, even if you slept 2 hours or 6 hours, you just go and have half an hour
exercise,
which really improves your mind. That's good for your mind and for starting the day in a good way.
So
that's my tip. I don't have jet lag. I mean, I never suffer on jet lag, so never done.
Wow, lucky you. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
All right. Thank you so much, Caterina, for joining us today on Masterclass US Wine Market. It was so great to have you here.
Thank you very much indeed, Juliana, for having me. As I said, it's such an honor, and I really hope we can do it again. Of course, you have to have your turnover, but I really hope one day we can do it again. You're great. Thank you very much indeed.
Of course. Okay, and good luck at the Olympics this summer.
Thank you very much. Enjoy New York as well. Enjoy the US.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful country. Thank you very much indeed, really.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned each week for new episodes of Masterclass US Wine Market with me, Juliana Colangelo. And remember, if you enjoyed today's show, hit the like and follow buttons wherever you get your podcasts.